Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would sit down and do another video for you guys and gals. Let me get a sip of my water first. My beautiful radio voice going. Forearms are on point. Forearms were cramping today. My radial brachialis were cramping later after my arm day, which is kind of crazy because all of my curling was supine grip. I don't know. I don't get it. All right, but over to the point. Let's talk about reps in reserve. Here's my problem with this entire topic. I've had people bring this up and they're like, look, so you're saying people should probably be training 0 reps in reserve or failure, but what about doing more volume? And all these evidence-based people, they're like, but we can probably get a better stimulus to fatigue. All right, here's the problem with all of that. The issue is that if you end up getting less fatigue, like people are like, well, I'm going to just count my effective reps, right? So if I stop 3 reps short from failure, that'll be 2 effective reps. So I can count that as 2 effective reps per set. Like, aha, and I didn't get as fatigued as I did doing 3 sets to failure, right? And I did 6 sets or 7 sets or whatever. So therefore, the stimulus fatigue is better. But how do you know that you got 3 reps from failure? And even then, you just did 7 sets. You did 7 sets trying to get the same muscle growth stimulus as 3 sets. Do you know how insane that is? I mean, just think about that for a moment. You're going to go do a leg press or a squat for 7 sets just so that you can train easier on it? Just saying. And I'm not saying I haven't done stuff like that, especially with pause squats for high sets. And I'm also doing really low reps for high sets. Okay? When I've done it. And I don't even always think that gave the best results always. But the point is, we're going to do it for rep work. I'm not talking about even some heavy triples or something. We're talking for reps. Because again, triples are kind of a different animal, aren't they? Because we can get enough bar speed and enough weight on that we can still be a couple reps out and still get some quality stimulus. But we're going to have to do a lot of sets if we do that. And therein lay the point. If you're going to do low reps, okay, fine. You're doing it for strength work and to get some hypertrophy, absolutely. Trying to get a big squat, absolutely. You're talking about hypertrophy? You're going to do sets of 10 that way? You're going to do 7 sets of 10 just so that you don't have to do 3 sets. Well, that's cute and everything, except you don't know how many reps you had in reserve. People say, what do you mean? Have you seen the research? The majority of people, like 60 to 70% of people, cannot judge their reps in reserve unless they get right up on the edge of failure. Do people know this? We see it with our clients as a coach. When I see a client who's not getting results and I'm giving them sets of 2 reps in reserve and they're not making the progress I want to see, as a coach, and I know their programming is good, I already know what the problem is. The problem is it's not 2 reps in reserve, it's 5. So the studies say that most people can't judge their reps in reserve if it's more than about 1 rep from failure or 0. They can't do it. They're not capable of doing it, most people. Only a minority of people can, and it doesn't seem to matter. We're talking out of trained lifters, we're talking people who have experience. When they're that far out, they can't assess it. Until the bar speed slows down on one of the reps, they don't know how far they are out. As a coach, when I've seen this happen, you know what I've done? I've said, go get your camera, let's set up a session, because I do online coaching. What do you think happens when I put them on the camera? Like, no, you're going to do reps till I tell you to stop. Okay? A weight they've been doing for 10 reps, how many reps do you think they really get? If I've been telling them stop, 2 reps short of failure. So they're thinking, oh, this is my 12 rep max, right? No, it'd be their 12 rep max if they add a couple plates, some small plates to it. Maybe. They usually get 15, 16, 17 reps. I'm like, keep going. I'm saying they're right there. They've got their earbuds in, their AirPods, and coach is yelling, keep going. Another rep, another rep, another rep. I've had one of my guys take his 10 rep sets that he was talking about how hard they were. I've had him get to 17. 17! And we're talking on big exercises. When I made him keep going. Do you understand the problem here? Do people get the issue with this type of programming? It doesn't work for most people. So people say, well, it's this type of programming. No, it's not the programming. It's because the people following it are leaving reps in reserve and they can't count them. That includes the researchers. I've discussed that in other videos. Look at some of the evidence-based guys. Watch them train. Look at their 1 rep in reserve sets. Okay? No wonder they need 30 sets of muscle group. No wonder the people who do this, who want to research this and push this type of programming, no wonder they believe in it. No wonder they don't get amazing growth off 10 or 12 sets per week, or even 5 or 6. Because they're not within 5 reps of failure if they do that. Like, I'm doing 8 sets a week and not making any progress. I'm training hard, I'm getting close to failure. I'm a couple reps away. When in reality, they're doing sets of 10 with a weight they could do 17. Or even 15. So if they can do 15, they're only getting maybe 1 quality rep. Well, they did. I felt that rep strained a little bit. I mean, the 1 rep, you finally reached the upper threshold muscle fibers. Well, yeah, you need 20 sets to get anything out of that, right? You're going to need 15 to 20 sets of that to make the same gains you could have got off 3 sets to failure. They need 30 sets to make the same progress they would have made off about 5 or 6 sets to failure. Are we seeing what is happening here now? This is what the evidence shows in the lab. People can't judge this. They can judge when you're about 1 rep or less, if you know what to pay attention to. And I know a lot of people can't, because when you have them get real close, you tell them don't ever fail a rep, they get stapled. So even then, people can't even always judge that. It's why maybe we need to go up to 0 reps in reserve. Or if we get close, maybe do a rest, pause, rep per second. Just rest a second, finish 1 more hard rep. Or we need to do a lot of sets to failure, particularly movements that it's safe on. You know, curls and pull-ups and things. Perfectly safe. Right? Front squat, perfectly safe. Hack squat machine, I think that's safe. Not as much on bench press, maybe not a back squat. Right? This is why people need these crazy amounts of volumes. They're not training hard. This is why. And because they're not willing to train hard, then they justify it and they say, well, I'm keeping several reps in reserve so that I can get all this quality volume in. When in reality, they probably could be doing half or less of the volume they're doing and be making maximum growth. But they bought into this idea, and that includes the bias of the researchers. And I want to note, you watch the training of those people themselves, and you watch what their hard sets look like. Again, they have bias. They have personal bias in their own training. So keep that in mind when people bring these topics up. All right, guys, but that's really all I had to say on that today. I hope it's been informative. I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.